Hello. Welcome to our very first host and co-host of What's Really Going On in America. Now, Johnny, you probably thought I was gonna do the old um intro, didn't you?
I really wasn't sure what was going to happen there, and uh, honestly, I'm here for it. Let's get this ball rolling. Let's hurt some feelings.
Oh yeah, but I gotta ask, how you like that intro that I made?
I didn't even see it. It like went blank real quick, so I'm gonna have to go back and watch that after.
Okay.
It
Well,
may not show it to me only because I was in the queue.
maybe, or maybe perhaps, and just for everyone to know, if you didn't see it, it's because I'm testing the Wumble Studio, and this is my first time using any studio, and I'm not going to pass up on a freebie, especially from a platform like Rumble. Now, if it was not CTube, that may be a different story. But
Yeah, yeah. I have no interest in ever doing anything on YouTube, and if I were to do so, I would have to like become way more interesting. Uh, like,
well, I
but
would say you're pretty interesting.
Ah, I don't know. I'm just your average blue collar redneck. I hit things with hammers. I yell at my employees, and I'm way older than I look.
And yet, it's ordinary citizens that are the most interesting because don't get me wrong, someone like Donald Trump, who's big and popular, but he's big and popular because of what he's done for our country, you know. But in your small way, you're you may be popular to people just because of what you do for others, and that's what it comes down to. The more you do for others, usually should make you pretty well liked.
It's kind of 50-50 on that one. Some of the things I do are not really, liked, and quite frankly, I don't care. Um, it's also the reason that the universe brought you and I together because I do weird things, and I do it one for entertainment. It makes people laugh, and honestly, I don't know where everybody's been in the last 4 years, but we could all use a little chuckle at somebody else's expense, especially when nobody's actually being hurt in the process. But I just try to encourage people. One, go after your dreams. Do dumb things because one, it's fun, and two, it makes you feel good. Um, and stop caring like what other people think. So many people silence themselves day in and day out. Oh, what if so and so doesn't like me? Who cares? Move on. You know, life sucks. Get a helmet. Like I don't
Okay,
know what
Candace Owens.
like I don't know what else to like tell people. Like just be be happy. Like whatever that is. You want to raise bees in your backyard? Do it. You want to buy race cars? Do it. You want to crochet like swear words into little coasters? I don't care. Like just have fun, enjoy life. No matter what, things are going to have that potential to be bad. But don't
Exactly.
dwell on it. Like I don't understand why people dwell on it so much.
The, some things we just have to fight for because some people just want to take all the fun out of our lives to
Yeah,
misery. And, and
yeah.
and and those are the things we do have to dwell on. But then there are just some things that are just like turn the other cheek. Someone calls you a name, it's like turn the other cheek because it's like, what's someone calling you a name gonna do? Ain't gonna take away your money. It's not gonna take away your health. It's not going to do anything unless destroy your life unless if you allow it to.
Exactly. That's 100% correct. I one, I tell people, I'm like, if you can find my feelings and somehow hurt them, I will give you $100.
Oh my goodness. Imagine you being like 100% conservative and you hurt a leftist feelings with the truth and then they call you all kinds of names. I mean, you seem like the kind of guy that would just laugh at them.
Oh my God, yeah. Oh, main reason, because every time somebody tries to insult me, it's so low effort. And it's just like some like schoolyard trash talk name. Like, oh no, I will never survive this. No, I'll be fine because I'm going to get up tomorrow morning. Well, Monday morning, if it were to happen now, go to work, do my job, love the crap out of it, help my employees, become better and make more money, help customers. And I'm going to go home and I'm going to drink cold beer. You know why? Because I freaking can. And this is America. And that's what I choose to do.
Wow. Yeah, well, and me, I'll go to work, come home, do work on my business, um, do some research, and then, and then in between, maybe get about a couple hours sleep. Most
I,
people call me crazy because I get like 2 to 4 hours, and it's like, oh, I sleep like 8 to 12 hours, and I'm like,
no.
so you waste your life away pretending you're dead half the day.
No, I'm like my sweet spot is like 6.5 hours at the most. Anything more than that, I just become like a zombie, and then I'm guzzling coffee like it's going out of style.
Yeah, well, if I drank any caffeine, I could have as much energy as you,
No,
even with
no.
a tiny bit.
Oh no, I in fact I only had 2 cups of coffee today. Well, I don't count the one I take with me in the morning. That's the gimme. That's like to get the day rolling thing. That's my tism brain. Okay, brew the cup of coffee. Now the day starts. And when I come home at night, I crack the beer. It's to signify that the day is over. That's it. It's weird. I puzzle brain, and I have to do things a certain way. Otherwise, I get all weirded out, and I start getting anxiety. And yeah, yeah, I probably should have been given pills as a child, but I'm so happy that my parents did not go that route because I'm happy they didn't believe that ADD was a real thing.
Mm, yeah, well, some people believe in that. So, what would you say to people who think ADD is a real thing?
I mean, it's a thing, but we went about it so wrong. We just, oh, your kid's hyper, give him pills, or
Mm.
what? Wait a minute, why don't we figure out what little Junior's good at and see if they can harness that energy into something? So, like I said, I'm on the spectrum. I got the tisms, man, and autists unite, but my brain works in a way that makes me very, very good at what I do for a living. It's the reason I have my career. I just didn't realize it until a couple of years ago. Like I would have never known. Like we didn't know what autism was in the early 90s. And my parents were just like, yeah, he's hyper. Give him a dirt bike or something. I don't know. Like build a bike ramp in the driveway. You know, had a lot of head injuries growing up, shockingly.
A lot. Well, you had head injuries. Uh, let's say my guess is you had a lot of fun and you just hit your head sometimes.
Um, I learned to think my dumb things through a little bit as I've gotten older, because I don't heal like I used to.
Mm.
Um, I mean, I've crashed my bicycle. I've fallen off the roof. I mean, pretty much anything that could happen to a redneck child happened to me. And my dad was always like, "Yeah, bet you won't do that again." And guess what? Most of the time, he was right.
Mm. Well, I'll say with my childhood, you got this talk about reparations for something to people that happened to their ancestors hundreds of years ago, while I lived a life as a slave in foster care and all that other crap, which you jogged up my memory saying hit on the head. But
So
and
that
it's like, and the part of the reason why I'm fighting against this socialism, because I know it'll quickly turn into communism, and then eventually we'll all be slaves to the state. And I do not want a part two in my life of being someone's slave.
we have solutions for that because in this wonderful document called the Constitution, we have this wonderful amendment. I'm not sure why it's number 2, but when they say it protects all the others, I kind of understand because, especially now in today's times, I understand why the First Amendment is so important. I've always agreed with it wholeheartedly, unapologetically, 100% freedom of speech. Which why I love your group. You let everybody in there. You don't block anybody. You're not banning people. You just let them go in there and have fun. But I'm with you. I'm not going to let this country just die. And, we were always known and still are, we're the great experiment. What happens with experiments? You just keep experimenting with things. You're trying new things. Okay, what's going to work? Well, how about we don't try the one thing that we know 100% will not work? I mean, I fix cars for a living. Car comes in, headlight doesn't work. You know what I should do? I should put tires on it. That'll totally fix the problem. It's fast, it's expensive, and it will do nothing to solve the problem. Kind of sounds like our government.
Yeah. Well, the First Amendment was written so we hold our government accountable in a peaceful way first.
No,
And
no, no. It's so we can talk about the weather and post cat pictures. Didn't you know that? Oh, wait. No. That's the exact opposite of what Ron Paul said. I'm sorry.
The Second Amendment is if the First Amendment doesn't work out. And you know what's funny? Marjorie Taylor Greene recently said she wishes we the people would just take over the government because she's really she's been in Congress for like a few years already, and she's really pissed off. And you can hear in her tone of her voice.
Imagine being in a position like hers or anybody at the federal level of government where you go in and, no matter what you got in for, I do feel most people get into public office for the right reasons. At least in their mind, they say, okay, I want to go in, I want to make things better for X, Y, and Z. And their focus is so narrow on like one thing. And then you get there, and it's like, oh, you guys are really screwed up. And I'm watching it now with a Texas race, ironically, with an election I have no ability to vote in, but I've been watching it very closely. I'm watching somebody challenge an incumbent because the incumbent lied to the constituents, and he got called out on it. And guess who's the bad guy out of this whole situation? The challenger.
Of course.
Because the challenger is like, no, you promised me you were going to do this, and you didn't. You actually did the opposite, doubled down on it, and now you're going to pick on me. Oh, no. And it's honestly, it's glorious. They went through their primary. They got a runoff election coming up. It's just so freaking American. Like, I love it. Like, I elected you, but you suck. Now you're done.
And you know what? Now, here's the thing, too. We got to start, looking at everyone in a particular position. And here's an example. If you remember, Dr. Oz versus Fetterman, everyone before Dr. Oz was the primary selection for the Republican, everyone in the Republican Party was saying how much they hated him, and then the minute it became Oz versus Fetterman, they're like, well, at least he's better than Fetterman. You know why I did? I looked up a third party in the Libertarian Party because they say, because everyone's complaining about him. So I'm thinking maybe I should research this Libertarian. Now I always hear you'll waste your vote voting for them, or maybe here's the thing: you're wasting your vote voting for a guy you prior hating, but now you're just gonna vote for him because he's better than Fetterman. Yeah, isn't that what if Oz was part of the Uni Party and he's helping the Democrats anyway take over this country, and
He's
you're
from
voting
New Jersey.
for that?
He was from New Jersey. He just happened to have property here. Like he did the same thing the Clintons did. They bought a house in New York so they could get a Senate seat.
Yeah,
that's all it is. I mean, I can sell my house, go move to a market that has no Democratic challengers, and I can go whatever office I want within that district. And I mean, that's all it is. Just money, or recognition. It's a popularity contest or it's a checkbook competition. That's it. And that's why these people are getting in. And everybody knew Dr. Oz, and for whatever reason, we thought, let's elect that TV guy.
Oh, of course.
I mean, now granted, Donald Trump proved me wrong. He totally proved me wrong. I'm
Me too.
What? Like, why are we doing this? This does not make sense. He's always been a Democrat. He's always aligned with Democrats. And then, like, holy crap, he's doing things that make sense. I was like, I was shocked. He made a believer out of me. I was very, very happy to be proven wrong.
Well, you know what? You took some of the words out of my mouth. I too was skeptical, and not because I didn't even know he was a Democrat until like a year or two ago at one time of his life. But what got me thinking that he was wrong for the country the first time was when he admitted that he was bankrupt 4 times in his businesses. And I'm thinking, what if he does that to the country? But he proved me wrong. And he made it more prosperous, and not only more prosperous during this time, but he made it so much better than any other president prior to him. And then here comes Biden, and I knew right off the bat that he was going to do everything he could to bankrupt this country.
I'm going to do 2 things. One, could you imagine what Trump could have gotten done if people left him alone to do his job?
Oh my goodness. We would be totally out of debt, or at least very close to out of debt completely.
So I'm trying to remember which comedian it was, but they were making comments about how to prove that you should not mess with America and elect a dead president. They're like, let's elect Ronald Reagan. He's been dead for years, but we should totally elect him. Just so the rest of the world knows, all right, these people are a little crazy. And that's where everybody's fears of Donald Trump came into real play. Oh, he's going to just push that nuclear button. Well, guess what? Nobody messed with us at all. Freaking North Korea invited him. He was the only sitting president to step foot into North Korea. We were at peace with them. They were still psychotic, but guess what? They stopped messing with us. He had Putin in line. Why? Because he went and talked to the man and said, What do we have to do to not have a freaking war? I don't want a war. Watching that man being forced to choose Ukraine versus Russia and have him basically just start lashing out. He's like, I'm tired of people dying. I don't want people dying. And somehow that's pro-Russia. I don't quite get that. I think that's pro-human. That's just, what the hell is the point of going to war? Who benefits from that? Nobody. The defense contractors. That's who benefits from it. Meanwhile, you and me, the taxpayer, we just bend over, take it up the ass. It's like, oh, thanks. That was a really cool war. Can you do it in 4K next time?
Oh my goodness, yeah. And you know, and it just proves to, you know, Mindy Robinson, you know, kind of made this point too. All wars are bankers' wars. It's all about war profiteering, and you know, and see, you know what happens when you go after the mafia's money? They go after you.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Trump did. He stopped wars. He did everything he could to keep the abortions under control, and everything else they've been you know, the government's been pushing that they were making money off of, to keep it, you know, to keep it from, you know, keep the government from over profiteering. And that's when we all knew that we don't have a government anymore. We have a mafia boss somewhere.
Well, I mean, let's go down the list. You don't pay taxes; they take taxes. There's not a single law on the books that they're not willing to send people to kill you for. Something as simple as a parking ticket. You do realize, and I'm if anybody's watching this, I want people to realize, don't pay a parking ticket and just keep ignoring all the letters they send. Eventually, they're going to send somebody with a gun to come get you. And whether you're right, wrong, indifferent, whatever, they will kill you for it. And it's, I mean, I really wish I could just go to some of the customers' houses that owe me money and just point a gun in their face, be like, F you, pay me. I can't do that as a citizen. Meanwhile, I'm being denied my right to self-defense. Okay. You want to limit when, how, and with what I'm allowed to defend myself with. But you're not inherently against guns, because you're perfectly okay with sending people with guns to come take mine. And then you want to charge me for it on top of it, which is just like double bullshit.
But hold up, people can cross the borders without any documentation illegally. They can go to New York City, beat up on cops, spend a couple hours in jail, and then be released without bail, and just to commit more crime. But if you defend yourself, you're the bad guy.
Because they know who we are. That's what it comes down to. They can find us easily. Because what's that thing that we have? We have driver's licenses. We have social security numbers. Every aspect of our life is in a database somewhere that somebody can search to find us. And so they're going to beat up on us. They're just pushing to see how far they can push. COVID, the lockdowns, and all those mandates, that was a test.
And on top of all that, let's see. A guy was being attacked in New York City by a criminal. A guy pulls out a gun and gives a warning shot. The guy, you know, the criminal ran away. Guess who the cops went after?
Bingo.
Yep, the guy with the gun defending himself.
Because they knew who he was. It was a very easy, as they would call, open and shut case. Oh, well, he violated a law. What law did he violate? Because I'm sorry, any law that limits my ability to, I don't know, protect my life is a bullshit law. It's a bullshit law. And I don't, so like, that's one of those topics that I don't quite understand why it's so political. Oppressed people are very difficult to oppress if they're armed. And so I don't quite understand why left versus right, especially on the gun issue. It's like, okay, well, all right, let's insert leftist group, whatever it may be. That's oppressed. All right, cool. You're oppressed. What are you gonna do about it? We're gonna protest. Cool, awesome. Get your voice out there. That's what we're here for. That's what this country was founded upon. What happens if that doesn't work? Well, we're gonna vote. All right, cool. What if that doesn't work? Well, we're going to take guns away from the people who are oppressing us. Have you tried shooting them? I mean, I'm pretty sure if you're the oppressive bigot, as we've all been called at some point, I'm not impervious to bullets when I'm being bigoted. I mean, if a drag queen shoots me in the face, guess what? I'm fucking dead. And that's what I don't quite understand. If you're so concerned about safety, why don't you push the means to protect yourselves no matter what? And that's why that Second Amendment, that's the ultimate equalizer. It doesn't matter if you're 4'9", 85 pounds, and somebody who's 300 pounds comes at you. Guess what? A couple of freaking hollow points will solve that problem real quick. And exactly. I want to see bad people die. I'm sorry, I'm morbid. I don't care. I will feed them to my cat. He would love it. But I want to see people standing up for themselves and not bringing in groups and gang style freaking tactics. Like, oh, well, they picked on me, so we got to do X, Y, and Z. No. That is wrong. Go pick on the person who's the problem, not the people who you think are the problem.
Exactly.
Sorry, autism.
And speaking of the drag queens and the LGBTQ community, I mean, the government weaponizes them so badly that there's an organization called Gays Against Groomers.
And they thank you for bringing that up, because all right, so people within that community, me being included, like, we just want to be left the fuck alone. Like, that's just what I want to do. I want to go to my work. I want to get my money. I don't want to buy dumb shit. That's it. That's it. And guess what? I don't care what flag you fly. If you're a pedo, we're gonna put you in a wood chipper. And no, it's honestly, it's so similar between left and right. Like, we're like being like funneled into this like one group. Oh, well, okay, so you're part of that camp, so now you're like all these other people. No fucking way. If you touch kids, if you're going after kids, if you are any threat to a child, if you are a threat to anybody else in this society, we will deal with you accordingly, and I don't care who the fuck you are, because that's just how we operate as Americans. I don't feel that I don't feel you're a threat to me or my well-being. And the thing is, we disagree. But then you got the leftist wholeheartedly on a lot of topics. But I don't feel that your personal beliefs are a physical threat to my well-being. They're your opinions. And guess what? I can either agree with them or disagree with them. And at the end of the day, that's where it should end. And, let's just say I was a freaking hardcore leftist Democrat piece of shit, money grubbing, taxpayer sponge. I'm whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Those people. I'm not going to limit your right to have your opinion. I'm not going to try and silence you. I'm not going to try and do anything to dissuade you from being who you are as a human being. I'm going to leave you alone. That is my tactic. I'm going to leave you alone in hopes that you leave me alone. That's really what we should all be doing. Like, okay, how do we move forward, fix the actual problems? Oh, maybe we should just let each other alone for the people who are actually not a problem, focus on the ones who are a problem, then we all come together, fist bump, and beat that piece of shit behind a dumpster.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Well, the leftists will say to me, "Oh, you're a Christian, so you're a threat to democracy, and you and you're and you're bigoted and all this other stuff." It's like I worked with homosexual people in my lifetime. And one of the best ones I ever worked with was this one guy that me and him would pick on each other out of fun. One time he called me Quintard, so I said, "Okay, gaytard," and he's like, "That's good."
No, and see, that's the thing. We need to find those things that make us different. We need to laugh at each other. We need to laugh at ourselves. Okay.
Yeah,
Like I know that I look, I'm all over the board. Like you just put a dartboard on the wall with a whole bunch of weird stuff on it. I'm probably on there in some way, shape, or form. And I don't care because that's who I am. I'm also not out there actively trying to convince people who still have to ask for permission to use the restroom to be like me. If they
yeah.
are, the thing is, if they, and honestly, like, so, I mean, I grew up pre internet. So I had to look at myself in the mirror and be like, what the hell is wrong with you? I couldn't go on the internet and go, what the hell is wrong with me? Like these kids can do today. So they took that and now they're turning it into, oh, what's that? You play with Barbie dolls. Oh, okay. So we should totally put you on these pills, and then like completely alter your physical being because you like Barbie's Corvette. I play Barbies with my freaking sister. I do not feel like removing my wobbly bits. I like my wobbly bits. I'm very proud of them, quite frankly. And Gina's in the background laughing at me. But it's not everything is black and white, and that's we're trying to make very very complex things and dumb them down to make them like a one word answer. No, you can't do that. You can't do that with guns. You can't do that with trans people. You can't do that with the gay community. Like the only thing that there is a one word answer for is pedophiles, and the answer is wood chipper.
Kind of like Joe Biden, that's for sure. That guy is, my goodness, if I was half of those kids that president touched, I would have punched him in the nose. I'd be like, "Get off me!"
I mean, with him, there is legitimate video proof, but yet there's no accusations. Meanwhile, we're trying to like make Donald Trump look bad because he allegedly had an affair with a porn star and then paid her to keep her mouth shut. Um, okay, so you know me. I operate in a very moral gray area. I'm pretty sure if I had an affair with an adult film star, I would be very proud of it. And I would tell everybody, like, yep, that was totally me. I did it. Yep, it was amazing. You know, this guy is like, no, nope, didn't happen. And, she wanted nothing to do with that. And I'm sorry if hush money is so wrong. Didn't Bill Clinton pay like 900 grand to Paula Jones in the 90s?
Yeah, I have to take a look at that one.
And then also, do you remember during that whole Lewinsky thing?
Bill Clinton.
Who was the bad person out of that? Who's the one who did not grow up to be big and famous? And it wasn't her. And also, I'm going to stand by it. It's crude. I'm going to apologize in advance, but I'm sorry. Your job as the first lady, Hillary, I'm talking to you. You're supposed to be the first lady under the desk. I mean, he's the most powerful person on earth at that moment. So I'm pretty sure the man deserved a mouth hug from his wife. Oh, no, that's right. You pushed him into politics so you could advance your career.
That sounds just about right. And I somehow knew, like, even back then when I wasn't even paying attention to politics, I kind of knew that Hillary had her own agenda when Bill was in there as president. And it's like, sheesh.
And you know what? I'm not even saying like he had a bad presidency. Like overall, it wasn't terrible. He did let his party run amok. I mean, we did get the 1993 crime bill out of that, which is so terrible because it just puts a whole lot of young black men in prison for very, very victimless crimes. And then, oh man, who was the guy who wrote that bill? Who got that passed? Oh wait, Joe Biden. Okay, cool. So then we have people at lower levels of government who use that bill to advance their own careers and put a whole lot of young black men in prison, which took them away from their families, which turned their 2-family household into a 1-family household because they were forced into a job, make money to pay for the kid because they were trying to do the right thing, and then you put them in prison based off of a drug that your own government put into the system that they like, oh wait, we could sell this, make a whole lot of money, and then I can buy diapers and make sure my kid is fed, and then then there's this person in California who's going to use that law to imprison a whole lot of people for marijuana possession, which essentially hurts nobody. It's natural. It's actually healthier for you than half the crap we put in our body that we call food. Oh wait, what's her name? Oh, Kamala Harris. Oh, Kamala Harris. Yes. And then they're going to run for freaking president as they're going to do justice reform and talk about racial inequality in the prison system. Meanwhile, the guy that's currently sitting in the Oval Office, wrote the bill, and the person who's our vice president, who knows where the hell she's at right now? She's probably freaking laughing behind a dumpster somewhere. Used that law to build a career about how many people she locked in prison. Black people, and then talk about racial inequality. Interesting, bitch. Like, what the hell's wrong with you? You literally are the problem.
But Trump is the racist.
No. Trump only became the racist when he decided he was going to run as a Republican, because up until then, the black community, especially the high-ranking black community, had no problem taking his money as donations for rec centers, housing, whatever other projects they had going on. Him and Al Sharpton, they were pair of pals tight, like frog's ass watertight. But no, the first people to criticize him were the people who took the most amount of money from him. And you know what? That's what the man, I'm assuming, realized. I would love to have a sit down with him off the record and find out, were these people your friends because they were your friends, or were they your friends because you gave them money and they thought you aligned with them politically? The fact that Trump ran as a Republican, yes, a lot of people are going to criticize that. He was a lifelong New York Democrat. But you know what? I don't understand, because the man came out and somehow did something that made everybody's life better. I'm not really seeing how he ruined anybody's life, because I don't know. I'm here in America because my grandparents were Jewish. So I'm pretty sure I know a thing or two about the Nazis. And you know what? I don't align with them. I would never align with anybody who agrees with them. So I don't know.
Basically, the leftists.
And I'm just trying to figure out, like, how would you? Why would somebody like me, with my heritage, freaking support the guy who's a quote literal Nazi that you're in your eyes anyway? Like, what the hell? I would not. The freaking Orange Man did good. Like, just give him that. Like, he's gonna go down. Like, the way this is going to pan out, he is going to go down as probably one of the most influential presidents in the history of this country, outside of George Washington and Abraham Lincoln. And I say that for the reason of, I'm sure you saw the uptick in political interest when he became the nominee in 2016, because everybody wanted to poke fun at him, but then they started paying attention to him. Well, guess what? That's how he got a following. Then he got the haters. So nobody's going to hate you if you're not doing things that are controversial. And when I say controversial, I don't mean that necessarily in a bad way. He's going in there to upset the status quo, because all we were doing was kicking a can down the hallway. Nope, not my problem. Not my problem. Not my problem. Meanwhile, the national debt just goes up and up and up and up. And we're told you shouldn't buy toast made of avocado because that's why you're poor. Kiss my ass.
How about we're poor because they keep our government just keeps taking and taking and taking. Now, here's the thing: if you, in your business, if you became a billionaire, but then somehow lost every last penny of it, you couldn't just get that money back. You would have to work your way back up.
Right.
Now, when our government uh, wastes all of our money uselessly and they need more money, they just give us the bill to give to them.
So I want to know because I mean I have a printer in the other room. Why can't I print out $100 bills?
Oh, well,
I
they
mean,
say it's illegal because the government wants total
oh,
control.
oh,
And besides
it's
that, we don't have the gold.
so like, oh, it's counterfeit. Well, what is counterfeit? Because Nixon decided we don't need a gold standard. We do not need to back our physical paper money with, I don't know, a tangible asset. And then what happened? We just kept printing money. I feel, oh, what's that? Oh, I got to put a transmission in my car. Cool. I'm just going to go fire up the old HP, print out a couple of bucks and pay for that. Why can't I do that as a citizen? But yet my government can somehow do that. I just, it doesn't make any sense to me. It's honestly, it's freaking monopoly money in my mind. And it's you want to talk these people that criticize crypto, like, okay, yeah, I'll agree with you on certain things. Like, well, there's nothing backing it. Well, there's nothing backing your fiat currency either. What's the difference? You know,
It-
at least Dogecoin has a cool freaking meme.
well, and here's another thing with printing money. If the government can just print money anytime they want, why do they need why do they need my money?
Bingo.
Yeah, exactly. And plus, if governments can make just print money, why do we have to continue giving money to Ukraine? Why don't they just print up their own money?
But
Exactly.
I know what I need tinfoil for my head right now. Like I totally need tinfoil. Oh, so fun fact. Um, well, fun fact after the question. Government cheese. You've heard the term, correct?
Yep.
Oh,
Actually, not exactly. I
okay.
might have heard it once, but it's been a while.
Okay. So nowadays it's not so much the thing that it used to be. But government cheese was something that happened in the 80s under the Reagan administration. You know why we have government cheese? We have government cheese because in the freaking early 1900s, we decided to ban alcohol. How does that correlate? Oh, all right. Let's go down this rabbit hole. So they decided to ban alcohol in what was it, the 1920s? And, you know, bars had two choices: go out of business or figure out a new way to make business. So they started selling ice cream. People loved ice cream, so the U.S. government decided to subsidize farmers, so they become strictly dairy farmers because they wanted to have ice cream for the troops while they were fighting World War I and II. After World War II, essentially because we weren't sending dairy products all over the country or all over the world, we had to then start buying. Government was buying all the excess dairy. So what do? We can't just store milk; it's going to go bad. So let's turn it into cheese, and we're just going to store it in underground caves. There's currently 30-ish underground caves storing cheese in the United States, about 1.5 billion pounds of it, and which then turned into, what are we doing with this? We're spending about $1 million a day. The politicians like, nope, not my problem, not my problem. I don't want to do it. Because I don't want to be the politician who stops giving the dairy farmers money, because that will crash an entire market and that will lose an entire voter base. So Reagan gets into office. He's like, okay, well, what do we do with all this cheese? I can't be spending $1 million a day to refrigerate it. He says, let's dump it in the ocean. Well, he did not dump it in the ocean because people are like, well, we paid for the cheese. We want the cheese. So then they cut it into 5-pound blocks, started giving it out as a welfare program. So that's where the term government cheese came from. Then fast forward into the 90s, the Got Milk campaign is actually government funded. It's a nonprofit organization, which is for the dairy farmers, which they are, legally mandated to pay into every year for advertisement costs. It's not an actual nonprofit because they are not actually out there raising funds like a normal nonprofit. They're just taking money from the dairy farmers. So the Got Milk campaign came about because we need to convince people that cheese is good for some reason. And we started partnering up with all these different companies, as Domino's, Pizza Hut, and put more cheese on things. You remember the ads, Got Milk, the stupid milk mustache. So prohibiting alcohol turned into basically an entire industry, because before Prohibition, there was nobody out there who needed to be an actual dairy farmer. I will send you the link to the actual video because I absolutely butchered that story, but it's freaking glorious. But it's a very, very good example of how government gets involved. We're going to help and do the right thing and just absolutely demolish themselves and just like completely screw everything up.
Well, that would explain. And you know, recently I got this app called Yuka, and you know how back in the day, like 20 years ago, we would make fun of women for taking 2 hours in the supermarket because they want to save every last penny or they want certain kinds of things. Well, now I spend 2 hours as a guy who used to just go in, grab what he wants, and get out, because I'm scanning all the barcodes to just about every food, trying to find the least poisonous thing to eat.
Good luck with that here in this country. Good luck with that.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Because at nearly every, I even found out that the water I used to drink, Essentia, it's all the things you see in the front, you know, no fluoride, BPT free, and all this other good stuff. You would think it's the best water in the world, but they add a hazardous chemical in there. And it's like, wow, okay. So there's no such thing as good water for us to drink.
Look, we can poke fun all we want at Europe, but the majority of the food that we are given here in the United States is banned in Europe because of certain chemicals, ingredients, things like that. And honestly, I mean, I know why they're doing it. It's cheap. They're doing it because it's cheap. And I'm also like that typical person. Like, I don't want the government. Anytime somebody says the government should, I want to hit them. I really do. Because you know what the government should do? It should shut the fuck up and sit in its house and do what we tell them to. Because I don't know. Apparently, these people forgot they work for us, United States citizens. You are elected representatives. What does representative mean? We gave you a job. We are now giving you money to represent us. And I think a lot of what's going on is they're not representing us. They're representing their donors. They're representing corporations, you know, their own beliefs. And there's nothing wrong with a politician having their own belief, but at the end of the day, it's like I come to you. I want you to vote for me. And you say, well, why should I vote for you? And I'm going to say, well, what would you like to see done in this position? And I say, oh, well, that's a really good idea. And I write it down. And guess what happens? I get elected. I go there and I say, oh, remember that time Quinn said this thing? Okay. Oh, yes. Hi, Johnny here. I would like to bring up this point that my constituent Quinn has. Can we do something about this? Oh, no? Okay, cool. Well, now I'm going to campaign with all my buddies. And we're going to get that passed. Why? Because that's how you deal with your with your constituents. You actually represent them. Okay. We need a commercial break. I gotta pee because we're gonna get into the abortion thing now.
Well, you know what? We're almost at an hour. So what I would say is let's end it here. And then we can talk about a specific topic for the next podcast.
You know what? How about this? I think we should do this every Friday night at 7:00.
Sounds good.
Especially now that we figured out the microphone thing.
Oh, well, yes, my fault. Yeah. Let's bring that up on it.
I thought it was me. I honestly thought it was me. I'm sorry. I'm not even gonna give you any crap about that. Zero crap.
Nah, you're fine. I
It's a
like
new,
your sense of humor.
it's a new thing. You know, we're trying stuff out. We want to see what works, and honestly, it's gonna be a lot of trial and error. Oh, by the way, text me your address. I'm gonna send you some stuff.
Sounds good.
Just don't worry
And
about it. It's nothing wrong. It's nothing illicit. It's going to brighten up your day, if you will. I made a dad joke.
sounds
I'm
good.
gonna get you a background. I'm gonna get you a proper lighting, and yeah.
And so for next Friday night, we'll talk about a specific topic for next Friday, and I'll have some clips that'll go around here.
Do a
Um,
do a poll. Do a poll in your group, and whatever topic is the winner. Well, that's what we'll talk about. I don't care. I'll talk about anything. I mean,
sounds
I
good.
mean, like I will sit here and pet my cat for an hour. I mean that's how little of a crap that I care about what we do. I mean,
Well, I will. Well, I'm sure we'll make it a little bit more interesting than
I don't
that.
know. I don't know. You'd be surprised. That cat gets some. He gets some good attraction on the internet. He honestly he gets more likes than anything that I do personally.
All right. Well, then
Stupid
we'll
animal.
do
He
this.
is.
All right. Well, we'll see this next Friday, and you have a good night, and hopefully
You
I
as well,
see you
sir.
hopefully I see you at the Donald Trump rally tomorrow.
Yeah, I will be there. I'm definitely not missing that. I will get there one way, shape, or form. I'm totally gonna get there. I might be a little drunk by the time I get there, because of the previous event, but I'm gonna be presentable and I'm gonna be appropriate-ish.
That's all we can ask.
But I will be there. I will be there with full support. I'm not going to for any other reason because I want to see the next president of the United States speak. I want to witness this. I want to harness the energy and be like, how the hell are you still doing this? Why are you still doing this, sir? What is in your brain? Because you could just drop out of this race and magically these charges might disappear.
Yeah.
I had a fantastic time. We need to definitely make this a Friday thing. We can get some other people on if we want to. But yeah, we're just gonna have those uncomfortable conversations moving forward that we need to have, and I feel our differences are gonna bring us closer together and help other people realize like you don't need to fit everything to a T. I'm weird, you got your convictions, and let's be honest, it's gonna be a freaking good time.
Exactly.
And no, I'm not reading off a script. I'm actually just autistic. For anybody watching this, I just say words, man. I'm like a random word generator. I just, I get a thought and I just, and yeah, that's what I do. And the reason why we cap these in an hour is because I don't think some of you guys know how many diet beers I can put down in an hour. He's going to cap me while I'm still coherent and making somewhat of some sense. So yeah, the fact that I'm the leftist of the group, I'm the liberal of this pair is actually quite funny to me, and I absolutely love it. And I'm going to enjoy doing this stuff moving forward.
Cool. Well, then you have a good night, audience. You have a good night if you're watching this, or have a good day if you're watching the recording, and we'll see you next Friday.
We are going to be back. We're going to do this all the time, and guess what, Tucker Carlson? We're coming after you, homie.
Well,
we're going to have you as a guest.
That would be great.
I've had weirder things happen, so I'm just going to start tagging them on Instagram and stuff.
And if there's one person I want on this show, it's Candace Owens. Because I want to talk about her I still want to talk about her white lives.
I
want Charlie Kirk because he created a shirt called American Lives Matter. Does that mean American criminals too?
Hey, hey, there's American citizens who dilly little children, and we all know what we do with those people. Wood chipper. So,
Yep. But hey, good night. Good
Mr.
night.
Quinn, it's been a
And we
pleasure.
are going to, and we are out now.